repair at the. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh.
The recording stopped earlier, so I had to repress it.
All right, sorry, where was I? Yes, and it looked like there's going to be some insect removal, and then it's going to be open to the public shortly thereafter. But the impression I have is that the place is in a serious state of disrepair. Could you just clarify for me?
I know. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Joe. So you might be mistaking this with the Booth-Babcock mill, which is the report next.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, this is for the Fairfield Goodsett House. So there was no report for this. This was kind of a last minute addition.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
All right, Mike.
That's because this is next year's meeting. All right, sorry.
Not at all. Robert, you go ahead.
So this is probably, I'm hoping Barb gets to manage to connect, because I'm sure she'll have some thoughts about it, and this is very much her area of expertise. That's my only, I'm curious to see what she says. That's all my comment.
Yes. Thank you, Robert. Have we had any success, Jennifer?
No, it'll have to come on her end, or perhaps she could hang up and try to connect again, because she'll come in unmuted.
Okay.
Can we disconnect her? Force her to reconnect? Greatest respect.
Well, Barb, if you can hear us, perhaps that's the best way forward, if you hang up and try calling again. Oh, she put a thumbs up, so maybe that's what she's going to do. We'll give her a minute. There she's gone. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you go ahead, Barb.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, first of all, sorry for the inconvenience to you folks. I guess I'm interested in what might be found while work is going on in the Goodsett House, since it never was really recorded as to what was original features or features changed by the Goodsets when they moved in. So I guess in a sense it's with the contractors and so forth. I'm curious about whether they'll be recording observations of as found before they go ahead and do work.
Joe, do you want to comment on that?
Yes, I'll probably need some help from Matt. But yes, so as we develop the design, obviously they'll be following the design during the work, and they will note any differences from the design to the record drawings. And then for the exterior work, so there's going to be an archaeological assessment for any excavation or anything that's found from a significance perspective there. It will obviously be recorded. To be honest, it's not something I had considered, but we can definitely come up with a plan to do that, to make sure that we note any differences or anything that's found once we start doing the work.
So are there measured drawings for that building? There weren't back in the 1980s. And I'll also mention, I'm glad to hear the reference to archaeology because, again, in the 1980s, interesting early 19th century artifacts were found in the area of around the lakeside porch, especially to the west of the porch.
I can speak to that a little bit.
Go ahead, Adam.
So there were some original, or I'm not sure on the year, they're not dated, but some blueprints that were noted that were in the building. We have some pictures of those, and we've provided those to the contractor, to the engineer as well. And he'll be able to use those as a base to begin his drawings. And then a complete set of new drawings will be completed from those base. And then, yes, with the archaeological assessment, we're currently in the process of that right now. But that'll be done for any location that excavation needs to take place. And everything will be recorded at that point.
Just to follow up too on Adam's comments, there was an archaeological assessment done in the past, and we did, or we're in the process of obtaining a copy of it. However, we've been told it doesn't meet the current standards for archaeological assessment, so that's why we're with some additional work.
That's my questions for the Goodside House for now. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Barb. Any further questions from committee members on the presentation? Seeing none, could I just get a motion to receive the presentation? Robert, Barb, you're going to second that. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, we come to the unfinished business list, 5.1. Jennifer, over to you.
All right, so I'm just gonna quickly go through it. Just note any new additions, but get us past to the next report. So just very quickly, for the plaque program, the 3 plaques that we purchased from Gorway have been installed. They were installed in November. I did take some pictures of those, but they'll be attached to the next agenda for the May 16th meeting for you folks to take a peek at. But just as a refresher, they were installed on the stone wall 15095 Front Road, as well as the Bath United Church and the W.A. Johnston House, which is across from the Bath Museum. So it was those 3 properties. MTO for the Parkway Gates, they did approve to have the gates listed on the municipal register. However, that's going to be brought up at the next meeting as well, because it has to do with the report that we're going to be bringing, and we're bringing a recommendation to either add it or not. So we can discuss that further in May, but just to let you know that they did send us an email to let us know that they're okay with it being added. So that's all for the unfinished business list right now.
Thanks, Jennifer. Any questions on that from members? Okay, seeing none, could I just get a motion to receive Jennifer's oral report? Mike, seconded by Barb. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Item number 7, the main item for our meeting today, 7.1, heritage permit application for Booth-Babcock Mill reopening. And are you introducing this, Jennifer? Which staff are going to speak to this?
Carrie is going to introduce.
Then
I
I'll
think
recognize our recreation manager, Miss Lamb. There she is.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, or I guess it's good morning to the committee. I appreciate everybody gathering on short notice. The township has been endeavoring for quite some time, I'd say the last 2 years, to pull together a plan for activating our heritage properties and opening the doors to the public so that we can show off and educate people all at the same time, some of these fabulous properties. One of my favorite properties is actually Babcock Mill. And with what you've just heard from Joe and the team regarding Fairfield Goodside House, with that property being closed for the next couple of years due to refurbishment, Heritage, Culture and Tourism Department is moving forward with activating Babcock Mill. And Babcock Mill is currently in a state where it does have quite a bit of infestation related to animals, birds, rodents, insects, those types. There is some further work to be done outside of what's been identified in the report in the future at Babcock Mill. But what we've identified in the report that's before you today is the minimum that we need to do to open the main floor. So if you come in from the north entrance, if you're familiar with the property, just to open up that main floor and start doing a bit of education related to that property. Our plan moving forward is in 2024 to come before council with a request to do a in-depth heritage strategy or plan for built heritage, and further refurbishment of all township owned properties that require it would then be considered in that plan. But today we're just focusing on what we need to do to open the doors today for the main floor of Babcock Mill.
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Lamb. Mike, I know your question earlier was actually in reference to this report. Do you want to restate it?
Oh, we could do that, or I guess it's been recorded. We could just replay it. Okay, I think I'm up to speed at this point. It sounds like the mill is in terrible condition, and yet the plan is to have it open for the public in very short order. It doesn't sound feasible, especially with all the chemical treatments that are going to be required. Can you just tell us more about that?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the work to be completed has a lot to do with the remediation of the visitors that have taken home to the mill over the many years. It is related to removal of debris from those animals, and a lot of the products that are being used, all of the products that are being used, we've shared with the committee. They are safe. There'll be no products used on the machinery. It will be done through an external company, a contractor who has experience doing this. So they're confident that those remediations can be made in a timely fashion. Some of the work that needs to be done, like the couple of the hole at the back door at the floor that you've probably seen the pictures of, that type of work is something that can be done on short order as well. The facility does need work, I will say that, but there's no concern with opening the facility without completely, for instance, repointing the entire facility. There is a good portion of the brick and the stone that does need to be repointed, but in consultation with our chief building official, there is no concern for safety related to that. That will require a larger plan and a larger shutdown. So in consultation with our building department, they don't have concerns with the plan moving forward with opening. It really does come down to how are we extracting and removing all of the visitors that have taken home in that facility.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for that. And the other question was, there was talk about black mesh. Could you tell me what that means and what it is?
I can, through you, Mr. Chair. The mesh that is being proposed to be installed will be placed around the upper portion on the inside of the mill where it's the cedar wood. In the pictures I attached to the report, and all of those pictures show a lot of the gaping or the holes where the sun you can see the sun shining through. Those are the areas where pigeons, birds, other types of animals are getting in. The idea is that the mesh would be stapled to the cedar on the inside, which is the least invasive way to attach it, to keep the visitors out so that we don't have to keep doing an extensive removal of debris. We recognize that the mill is never going to be 100% airtight or rodent free, just being the type of facility it is. However, we are trying to do our best to keep visitors out that are not welcome, and the mesh is a product that hopefully will be able to do that.
Okay, and my last question was that we're reading about phase 1. Has anybody thought about phase 2, 3, 4? And is there a description of what they might be?
That's an excellent question, and I wish I had that plan for you today. That's the bigger plan that we're going to have to come together. I have had conversations with our engineering manager, as well as Andrea, and as well as our manager of heritage, culture, and tourism. And not just this property, but many of our township heritage properties need care. Just like we heard with Fairfield Goodside House, Fairfield House needs care. Bath Museum is going to need some investment put into it. So the idea is in that 2024, we get funding approval to hire a consultant who specializes in this and can come in and do a larger plan on all of the township owned infrastructure that is designated heritage, and be able to come into each facility and put together a plan on everything that needs to happen. We then as staff need to sit down and present to council and yourselves committee a plan on how we want to approach this and how we're going to fund it. Because we all know that the funding is also a large portion. We can then also start seeking grants and other funding sources, hopefully more than just through our tax rate. So phase 2, 3, 4, we don't have a full plan for yet. That's going to require additional building condition assessment strategies, things of that sort.
Okay, so if I understand you, then phase 1, that's this summer. And phase 2, etc., is starting sometime next year.
On this specific facility, it could be longer. It will depend on what the strategy tells us.
Okay, good. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from members? Not from Robert. Barb, you have any?
I don't think I have.
Okay. So we do have a report. The recommendation, which I'll read, is that the report from the Economic Growth and Community Development Services, April 18th, 2023, re-heritage permit application for Booth-Babcock Mill reopening be received, and that the Heritage Committee recommend that the heritage permit application be brought before council for approval. Can I get a mover to propose that recommendation be adopted? Mike, seconded by Robert. Any further comments by anybody? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. That's good. Nothing for correspondence. Any announcements and inquiries from members? Seeing none. We have our upcoming in-person, yay, meeting dates.
Yes.
The next one being the 16th of May. Looking forward to seeing you all then. And our next item is a motion to adjourn. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Robert, you'll move that. Mike, you'll second. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We are adjourned at 11:31. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time.
Okay. Thanks, Nathan.
All right.
So long.
See you soon, everyone.
Yep. See you soon.